Okay, hi everybody. My name is Oğuz. I'm an internal medicine doctor, and for the last 6 years I'm vegan, and for the last 2 years I'm working for Anti-Vivisection platform in Turkey. So today I will try to tell you anti-vivisection in Turkey and what we have done already. In the end, I would like to share some information with you. The first time I met vivisection is when I was in medical school. I think we had a physiology professor, and one day he invited us to a laboratory, and when we got into the laboratory I saw tens of rats, and they were trying to escape from their cages, and I was so shocked, and it was really terrible. And he was expecting us to first chop their heads off and to examine their hearts, lungs and other organs. The thing is, how can someone learn something from a little animal for human uses? And I was so shocked, and I told him that I don't want to do this, and he insisted me on about doing this experiment on that rat. He wanted me to kill it. Some of my friends also didn't want to do that. So now we are in 2019, and there are lots of new models, not lots of new computerized technologies, mannequins, models. We don't need to do our learnings on animals. So scientists also made a research about this, and this research is about, they took a group of students and they made them perform on animals, and they took another group of students and they made them perform on computerized models. So at the end they saw that students who got taught from computerized models done much better on exams and also in the operation room. So this study was performed on 2001. So now we are in 2019 and we have lots of new technologies and lots of new models. So we don't need to learn on animals actually. In our country, and I don't know if in your country if it is the same, students don't have a right to not perform on animals morally. Sometimes when they wanted to not to perform on animal, their teachers told them to change their subjects. Even if they are studying on veterinary faculty, they said, okay, you can't do this, you have to choose another subject. Maybe you can choose math or physics or anything else, whatever. What we are trying to do now, conscientious objection in Turkey. So a student must have a right to, morally or religiously, I don't know, they must have the right to object these obligatory works on animals. In United States, for example, and in the other countries also in Europe, they have this right. 1 month ago also we went to the Turkish parliament. We give this opinion to the parliamentarians, but we don't expect so much about this, but maybe in the short term, maybe in few years we can take this, I don't know. And I strongly recommend you, if you can take the same right for students, it will be, I think, a good step for animal experiments to end one day. Because we are all animal rights activists, I don't want to talk about animal experiments morally, but the most important thing is, when we are talking against animal experiments, they are immediately saying that but if we don't perform on animals, how the medicine will improve? Even the vegans are also asking the same question, and it's a dilemma, and people think that it's a must to do animal experiments to improve medicine. But actually, I will try to tell you today if it's really that important to perform animal experiments to improve medicine. There are some research also about this. In 2010, two scientists made a big study about highly cited animal experiments. Like they got 900, 800 citations, and they were published in very important and very famous journals. And they showed us that 95% of animal experiments cannot be done on humans. Also in the side effects, when you find a new medicine, first you have to show the side effects on animals. If they don't give any side effects, then you can perform on the next step on humans. We made in Turkey from 2011, from 2015, we searched for master's thesis, and we tried to find that how many citations did our articles got, and if they were published in PubMed. PubMed is a medical library. If you made a study and you have to publish it, you have to put it on PubMed to make other people read your study. And we found that we searched 438 articles and 16,000 rats were killed. Only 1/3 of them was published in PubMed. Only 50 of them got citations more than 10. Among 438 studies, everything is trash. There is no any improvements in medicine. There is no any new findings of drugs or new treatment methodologies. I don't know if you have ever heard about thalidomide, and they also made tests about thalidomide on animals, and they don't find any side effects on pregnant animals. But when they use it on humans, people born without arms and without legs. What we have right now, we have alternative methods, like we have computerized models, and we have organs on chips, and we have three-dimensional maquettes, organs, and algorithms. We have lots of other stuff. So what are we trying to do right now is also to encourage scientists to do more alternative methods rather than conventional, traditional animal testing. We have to inform scientists more, and we have to tell them it's not the only way to improve medicine. I think in all around the world what we have to do is to get the conscientious objection. If you have any questions about alternative methods or animal experiments, I would love to answer them.
Can I please ask how to put proper words? You are scientists. You can talk to opponents in different dimensions, whether it's there are alternatives to animal testing, or the side effects, or the lack of coincidences between the bodies of the animals and humans. But what would you recommend for non-professionals in as an outreach in anti-vivisection propaganda? Like, what would you recommend to use as a tool to apply to people in the way that it would be effective, and at the same time wouldn't require the special knowledge and skills? Basically, I guess most of us we had some side education in anti-vivisection, but based on some brochures, some books, you know, like Sharp, I guess there was this famous book, like 1,000 Doctors Against Vivisection and so on. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's not the full degree, you know. What would you recommend as the proper focus for non-professionals to apply in terms of anti-vivisectionist outreach? What would be the most effective and the less controversial, let's say?
Mm-hmm. There are lots of methods, of course, alternative to animal testing. For now, unfortunately, all the new medicines will be tested on animals, even though they are not trustful, as I told you before. Mouse or rats, they are not little humans, so they have different enzymes, they have different genetic system, they have different physiology, so we cannot just take out some information from them and just use it on humans. But what I can recommend to you right now, we also have in Turkey some brochures we made, and we are giving them to non-professional people. I think when you talk to someone and when they insist that they have to make animal experiments to improve medicine, I think firstly you have to say no, stop there, and this is not true. The thing is, people don't know what they are supporting for, you know, because it's historical thing. It's coming from the Hippocrates. It's coming from the ancient Greek, you know, and we are still doing the same thing. But it is now with this technology. We don't have me and a friend of mine and the creator of the Anti-Vivisection platform in Turkey, and she has a huge knowledge. And now we are writing a book about this.
Thank you for all the information you're providing. I wanted to ask you about those highly cited articles that you were talking about that prove that 95% of the animal testing does not mean anything in practice. Is it, I mean, my first question is, are they useful, or can we make any use of them, at least, you know, by referring to the abstract when you want to tell people kind of that there are strong articles against it? And if yes, or they are only useful for experts and we cannot do anything with it. But if yes, is it okay if you send us at least the major ones so that we will be, you know, studying it, or at least take a look at the abstracts so that we can defend the idea or learn more about this issue, at least as activists?
Yeah, for sure. And I can also send the articles, the full articles to you. And I also like made a summary about them too, and I can share them if you want. You can also tell those articles to other people. You know, it will be really useful actually. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you are welcome.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you maybe recommend us also maybe now some fundamental or fresh books, videos, or movies on the issue available for understanding, like for not a doctor but just activist now? Because everything I read on anti-vivisection was published in Russian internet in the end of 90s, and it's from 80s, you know, so it's really out of date. Maybe you know some books that are made in the easy way but are fresh more or less and accessible the data. You know?
Unfortunately, there is no book right now about anti-vivisection, pure anti-vivisection. I mean, there are some books, of course, about animal rights, and they are also telling about anti-vivisection. But there are some articles, as I told you. I think you will get informed from those articles and reviews, because they are really good, and there is no any documentary, by the way. And in Turkey there was a group of people, they were planning to make one, and they were saying that it's going to be the first anti-vivisection documentary in whole world, they were telling. But I don't know if they could finish this, because we were planning to make an interview, but then they didn't call back, so I think they also stopped their plans and stop their project. I'm not sure about this, but unfortunately there is no any documentaries about this subject. But what I will do is I will just write down some articles, and I can just send you the PDF formats, and you can find the scientific ways. And we have some also brochures about this, you know, and I will ask my friends to translate them in English for you, our brochures. Maybe you can also make some brochures about this, maybe the same, I don't know, maybe you can change it, and you can give those brochures to your friends or the people, or you can just leave them and wherever you want. We can do that, I think. But
we can
sorry?
In English we can translate it into Russian, Spanish, and Georgian, maybe another languages.
It will be great actually. It will be great. Yeah, I can tell my friends about this. But as I told you before, I think the most important part, I also read this in a book, you know, when they were talking about anti-vivisection, and he was saying that maybe with the scientific articles and with other scientific stuff, we can inform them, and maybe we can change their mind. In 2012, the number was in Turkey 150,000 animals, and in 2016 the number was increased 3 times, and in 2016 it was 450,000 animals were killed in animal experiments. In Turkey, we couldn't find anything. We couldn't make any improvements in medicine. We couldn't make any new medicine. We couldn't find any new treatment modalities or new diagnostic methodologies. Nothing. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's stay in
I just wanted
contact.
to say that, I also sent my email to you, so
Yeah.
I will be waiting for the links and for the file. And and also thank you again. It's very important topic, and I think it's a topic that we don't have much information on.
Yeah, it's
so
behind the walls.
More educated as activists, so it's your what you're doing is very important and can help us a lot, and we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And your future.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting. Yeah, see you. Bye bye.
Good evening.